All right. Welcome to the Peckham Pulse podcast, where we bring you inside the people, purpose, and passion that fuel Peckham Industries. I'm your host, Steve Benton, Corporate Director of Safety and Risk Management. Safety is a core value of Peckham, not just a priority or a set of regulations. Safety is about people, our family, and friends. The Pulse will provide in-depth conversation on what sparks our passions and how we carry that through to strengthen our safety culture. At Peckham, our mission is to safely provide high-quality construction materials and services, but let's be honest, it all starts with you, our members. But nothing, not a ton of asphalt or a mile of freshly paved highway matters more than making sure everyone goes home safe every single day. All right, welcome back to the Peckham Pulse podcast. Today we're very happy to have Brandon Cudney join us from Slate Hill and James Comerford stepping in today.
Debut.
All right. James works with the safety department, long-term member. Talk to us a little bit about what originally brought you. Actually, you would have been at Slate Hill before Peckham. Is that correct?
Not entirely. I was in the truck shop originally for Etats and Sons.
Okay.
I was a mechanic.
Okay. Well, talk to us a little bit there. How did you end up at Tets?
So I originally started with Tets in 2012, pretty much out of high school, and I thought I knew it all, but and then eventually left, made my way back in 2021 during COVID.
So fast forward to 2023. Peckham comes in, we acquire Tets. So what brought you to kind of the material side of the business?
People from Peckham, a lot of higher ups. Dan Flannery was a major influence to me, and the safety department as well. We started making a lot of changes for the better, wanting to make things safer. I know we make sure the bodies were jacked safely and wouldn't come down on a dump truck while you're working on it, and just a bunch of different things that made the environment safer. And it really got me thinking about like what I wanted to do, because there were more options, right? Previously, before Peckham, they wouldn't let you leave the shop and go to a quarry or something, because they needed the good guys in the shop really working on the stuff.
Right.
And I thought about my future and where I wanted to be, and I wanted to manage, and I saw more opportunity for it on the quarry side and the material side than I did in the shop.
Yeah, that's such a great point, Brandon. I mean, when we go into an acquisition, we're trying to say, hey, there's a lot of opportunities here. And I remember, you were one of my first contacts when we acquired Tets, and we've been close ever since.
Yeah.
And for someone to take advantage of that and just from where you were to where you are now today, it's just really refreshing to see that the fruit of that labor. It's really, really good to see.
And then when does the Slate Hill opportunity present itself?
I mean, Mongop was in kind of rough shape, right? We could easily fix this stuff, and it really kind of puts you on the map. So I focused on that, and again, a lot of support from Brian and James and just everybody. And the more I did it, to make those changes, you kind of have to step up, right? And make sure things get done in a safe way too, right? I've always been kind of big on safety. I got hurt on the job, and
While at Tets?
while at Tets, when I was in the shop.
Why don't you talk about that quick?
I think it was in 21, maybe early 22. I was working on a dump truck. We were doing some engine work, me and another guy, and I was standing up on the steer tire of a tri-axle, and I went to get down, and while I was holding on, I had 3 points of contact, and I was stepping down backwards off of it, and when my left foot came down, I stepped on a fan clutch that was on the floor, and it spun my leg completely around, fractured part of my femur. It can happen like that, and your life could be changed, right?
Yeah, and that's a great experience. Unfortunately, you had to go through that.
Right.
But at the same time, I've seen you in the field, and unfortunately, it takes that experience sometimes to learn those lessons. But how you share that with other members, I've seen you call people out in a great way. Hey, this is not the right way to do that. You take that time, or let's take this time to make sure we do it right, so we're not injuring ourselves or somebody else.
Yeah, unfortunately, we do see that in this industry. It's a kind of a hard charging business, and we're trying to change that culture a little bit. But let's face it, we recruit people because they're energetic and they're go-getters and get-her-done mentality. But it's interesting, even over the course of my 30 some odd years, we've kind of backed away from that. And, now we're kind of telling people, stop, don't rush in, don't, analyze it first and then decide, what tools do I need? Do I have enough manpower? That kind of, so it's interesting how that thought process has evolved and changed. So Brandon, so obviously that injury, and then I assume your work at Mongop too had an influence on you receiving the 2024 Joe Wildermuth Safety Champion Award, which is our highest recognition for individual members. Talk a little bit about that. I mean, number one, were you surprised about the award? And talk about kind of the impact maybe afterwards from your peers to your own personal mentality.
So winning the award was kind of surprising to me. There were a couple key times I can remember where it kind of stood out a little bit, where I kind of stood out on the safety front. Yeah. I know one time when you were there, I stopped somebody from climbing over a ledge without a harness, and I didn't even want to do it, right? I knew James was there. I knew James could see it. And I didn't want to call the guy out, but again, I didn't want the guy to get hurt.
Right.
And that was the bigger thing for me. So I called him out, and I know that was one of the times that helped me get that award.
Yeah, I remember that day actually. I was walking up to the crusher at that time, and then you took care of it already and kind of met me halfway, just said, hey, I talked to him. And so I was like, that's great. Because when we start sharing things member to member, that's when we're really going to start having an impact.
And that's what it was. I mean, it might seem dumb, but I'd rather me say something to him than just watch it happen, right? And then I know you're going to come over and say something afterwards, and it's going to be worse off for him and worse off for, God forbid if he got hurt or something.
Right.
So that's what made me speak up to him. And now looking back on it, it's like, why wouldn't I speak up, right? It's just, why not? Why would I watch somebody do something unsafe? And it's my responsibility. It's your responsibility. It's everybody's, right?
Trying to get each member of Peckham to kind of have the same mentality. If you see something, say something, do something. And it's not easy because a lot of times we work together, we develop friendships, and we don't want to tell our friend, hey, you're doing something unsafe or you're doing it wrong, and hopefully we've talked about and coached and trained on the right ways to do that.
No, and it's an uphill battle, right? Safety, will never be, I don't know if as humans we'll ever be perfect with it, right? But it is so simple once you actually understand, like, everybody has the chance to say something, and you don't have to say it in a wrong way, right? You can just say, hey, man, I just care about you. I don't want to see you get hurt.
So talk a little bit, so obviously you've stepped into the manager role. What do you face? What are your challenges every day, all the way around? Safety, operations, people. What does your day to day look like? So
day to day as a manager is not as clear cut as I had imagined previous. When you're on the front line and you have a job to complete and stuff, it's pretty clear cut. Like, what you have to accomplish, and you can figure out what you have to do to accomplish those things in a safe and effective manner. As a manager, everything changes by the minute. So right now we're actually doing another CapEx project there, and so we've got contractors on site working on putting up parts of our plant.
What does the CapEx entail? What are you doing?
So we're adding a screen, a dry screen, and a couple conveyors and a bin, and kind of a way to supplement some sand into our plant.
Repair and maintenance. So you've got a CapEx project, but obviously you've got just regular wear parts and winter maintenance. Talk about the challenges you face.
Again, it's hard. It flows every day. Plans change and they flow. I've got work planned out for a couple weeks of what we're doing every day, and we get snow one time and you lose a day, right? Or you got one guy calls out and they don't think it's a big deal, but it ends up it slides your whole schedule one day into the future. You can easily fall behind really quick. You got to roll with the punches and be adapting to those changes. But it's that is what I really enjoy about management, thinking on your toes and coming up with solutions and thinking outside the box of ways to get things done. And just the type of person I am. I mean, if we start to fall behind, I usually try to get out there and help hands-on the most I can.
Yeah, that's, leading by example, right? And, you talked about, how you do that and the person who you are, having the experience you do. How do you keep your team motivated when these conditions are this tough?
It makes it easier with a good team. I've got some good guys that really, they just want to get the job done, and they understand, if they need something, we get it there. We don't play any games, and it's all to accomplish one goal, right? So we're all there for the same reason. We just play different parts.
So when you're getting into R&M season, what you would say we're in the middle of it right now.
Yeah.
What kind of role does planning and communication play in staying safe and efficient during this time of the year?
planning is crucial, as I'm figuring out. You know, if you don't have it planned out, you don't have materials for guys, or you don't have the work pretty much prepared, you're kind of setting them up for failure. So it's more important than I had realized before. Like, it's more important for me to be in an office and kind of plan their day out and order things, and than it is for me to be on the ground shoveling or something, right? But it's also important to show them you're there for them, and you know you're not giving them a job you wouldn't do. I think being prepared and standing back, you can see things a lot more clearly. You're not hyper focused on one thing. That kind of allows you to make sure everything's safe. You can see the big picture and see potential hazards, potential, you know, for people to get hurt.
What does success look like for you at Slate Hill at the end of this season?
Success for me is just really being able to run and produce material every day. I mean, we've had in the past a lot of times where we have breakdowns for multiple days and things that could have been avoided. So success for me is just running at a normal schedule. You know, nobody's killing themselves. We're working probably 10-hour shifts, 8-hour shifts, depending. Have a clean yard and a clean site, and really be able to start to tackle like bigger projects on site.
I want to go back again because, you know, we're talking about your current role, right? So before, when you were, you know, ground guy at Mongop, there was a time where actually you left Peckham.
Yeah.
You know, I want to discuss that a little bit. What ultimately made you just make that decision and then come back?
Yeah. So I left Peckham April of 25. We had just finished winter maintenance in Mongop Valley, and I believe we fired up for 1 or 2 days. It was like early March or late March. I got sent to Slate Hill, and it was kind of short notice. You know, most of the guys in Mongop got dispersed a little bit. For me, it was kind of the last minute move and stuff was kind of hurt, right? You know, I put a lot of effort into the winter in Mongop Valley, and didn't get to see, you know, the fruits of that, and I felt like I was just getting kind of kicked around. That's when I kind of realized, like, for me, maybe I needed to take a step back and kind of reevaluate where I'm at. And I was kind of, to be honest with you, missing the mechanical side of things. Like, I really do. That's my passion, right? And so I made a leave, and I jumped around a little bit. I was at 2 or 3 different shops in the time that I was gone. And then right before I came back, I was managing a fleet of cement mixers and dump trucks. I had heard that there was an opening in Slate Hill. The more I thought about it, the more I really understood, like, the sense of safety that Peckham gives you. The other jobs I was at, I mean, safety was non-existent. I mean, there was a plant at the shop I was managing too, and guys are out there, no hard hat, walking up on catwalks when the plant's running, and it makes you think, like, wow, these guys could really get hurt. And you say something, and their attitude is, just mind your business, right? And it's standing by and watching that is hard. You know, like I said, it makes me think back to Peckham, like the safety was number one, and that's important. When you don't have it, you realize how important it is. I knew that Slate Hill, just like when I went to Mongop Valley, Slate Hill had huge potential to show what you can do and improve the plant and really show that, you know, we can do this. The team there is good. I know a lot of the guys there. I just knew the potential was there, so I ended up making the switch, coming back to Peckham. It was probably one of the hardest times to come in, you know, right at the start of winter maintenance, having CapEx project going on, and it was the holidays. It was a really tough transition, you know, trying to learn how to be a manager for Peckham, which I was a manager at another fleet, but I didn't really get the training, right? I was kind of going by the seat of my pants. And
I mean, while you were leaving, you already had your 2 weeks notice in, and you were setting those guys up at Slate Hill for success. You had a whiteboard drawn out, what parts are where, oh, this is the project we need to work on today. And that just speaks volumes about someone who we would want in a leadership position, and someone and like yourself, and you've done a very good job so far. So you should be very proud of yourself.
Thank you. To me, it was just what needed to get done, right? Like, whether I was leaving or not, that's the job, and I was going to do the job to the last day.
My sense, Brandon, is, I don't know if you realize it or not, but, you know, obviously I think what you talk about, what's important to you, naturally becomes important to your crew. And I think, again, I'm not sure you realize that, but I think you're certainly sending that message, the post meeting after the trainings, little things like that. And the more the more our managers talk about safety in a very genuine way and start to engage the members, I think the more those folks are going to say, you know what, this guy really cares. It's not just flavor of the month, or it's not just Steve Benton or James Comerford talking safety at a higher level. It's my manager really cares about it. I mean, he cares about it that I get home safely to my family every day, but you seem to have a way to weave it into your tasks and how you, because obviously at the end of the day you gotta spit out sand and you're right. So talk a little bit up there. I mean, what's your secret to success?
I mean, it is really about setting expectations, right? Like for me, walking around without a hard hat or glasses or high vis or something, it's just not acceptable to me. It's not going to happen. And I think if you have that attitude, your guys will kind of pick up on it. And I mean, again, like when I relate to being on the ground and being on the front line of it, I never wanted my boss to be mad at me or have to yell at me or something. Like I knew what he expected, and that's what I would do. And so when you set the expectation, like, you know, you guys have to be safe. We have to get our job done, but we have to do it in a safe way and stuff. And you don't accept less than that. I mean, they'll kind of go the same direction. They'll understand that's how it's going to be.
Yeah, and hopefully they see really there's no reason why you have to have one without the other.
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't slow you down to be safe. And even if it does, I'm willing to take that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Really great conversation. A lot of cool story. I mean, really a lot there. The fact that you were here, you know, left, came back, you know, different roles, promotion, managerial. So just a great conversation. And I guess, James, as we sum it up, we hit a lot of topics today.
Yeah, we did. Absolutely.
Brandon, any
Final thoughts?
Any final thoughts on
Advice?
just passion for safety?
Final thoughts, like I'd really encourage anybody who listens to this that is part of Peckham. You can stand out and you can be anything you want in this company if you work towards it. And like you said, there's plenty of support. I know the safety department was very big on supporting us early on, and I mean, the support I receive from all aspects have been insane. Figure out what you want to do and put your all into it. And, you know, I don't see a reason why everybody can't be successful in this company.
Yeah, you know, I just want to make a few comments. You know, the best leaders are built from the work, you know, shaped by the experience and driven by purpose. You know, and that's the Peckham way. You know, how we get there and how we get to our results, that is how we get there. This type of leadership, taking those small roles and saying, hey, I'm more than just a groundsman. I'm more than just an operator. I'm someone that can influence my team to work safe and be successful.
Yeah, it's awesome, and it's this conversation, you know, reminds us all, I think, just what a special place this is. I think we all realize that. You know, sometimes it takes a little blip to see it and then maybe come back, but I think we all have great opportunity, and I think at the end of the day, it's really reassuring to know that the first thing that we care about, though, is our folks and the fact that we get them home safely every day. So with that, thanks for joining us on the Peckham Pulse, and please listen in, and we look forward to our next episode.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Brandon.
At Peckham Industries, safety isn't something we talk about when it's convenient. It's who we are and how we show up every day, every shift. Safety is a core value, just like integrity, dedication, and efficiency. So here's our challenge to you. Let your passion for safety lead the way, every shift, every task, every day. Thanks for tuning in to the Peckham Pulse. Stay safe, stay passionate, and be proud knowing that we're building America's infrastructure.